สวัสดีครับอาจารย์ครับ
โอเคก็ if you are ready you can start the presentation
Okay, so good afternoon, committee members and advisor. Today we're gonna present to you our senior project proposal. It's gonna be the topic of blockchain game, and we named it Meopolis. Okay, so for the introduction, our team wants to develop a blockchain game to store and in-game assets and to incorporate information about computer networks and cloud services into the video game. So it will be done as a part of the blockchain community in Thailand as a foundation. So in our presentation, we'll talk in 5 parts. The first part will be the introduction, and then we're going to talk about the design and the prototype that we have done. And the third one will be the approach, and the fourth one will be how we're going to implement it. And for the last part, it will be our KPIs and the plans for the next semester. So first of all, let's meet Stuart. He is male, age 23, and he lives in Bangkok, Thailand. His occupation is a software engineer, a software developer, and he is a person who is very communicative and competitive. He is a game enthusiast, and he wants to play games on his daily basis. So there are frustrations that he encounters in his life. First of all, when he plays games, the inability to collect games item after the game has shut down leads him to his frustrations. And furthermore, he can't find any games with the a good, interesting gameplay. So his lifestyle is family oriented, and he is moderately active, always find new games to play, and he likes playing games in his free time. And he also buy collectibles as a hobby. So his goal, he wants to keep the in-game item as a collectible after the game he plays shut down or closed. And he also wants to play a game with a variety of content. So the personnel allow us to find the problem. So right now, many video games have been created, and when the game shut down, players cannot keep track of the in-game item that they have paid for, which is due to the digital rights management. And furthermore, the second problem we have found out from the personnel is that these days blockchain games only focuses on finding a way to monetize the game, but not placing their primary emphasis on the game's gameplay or core game. So the plan to solve it is that first, as a blockchain game, our in-game avatars will be provided in the form of NFTs. And even if we stop developing the game or the game shuts down, the people who bought the NFT or the people who earn it through playing will keep them and can show it as a collectibles. And the next one is to address the tokenomics issue in which the developers of the blockchain games in the market today only focuses on monetizing the game. We will generate an infinite number of new tokens, and the tokens would only have a value primary within the framework of the blockchain and the game. So no real money would be used in the game. Okay, so for our inspiration, there's a game three of us played when we were a child. So it's called Club Penguin. It's a kids game basically, and it's a social game, and it allows players to go and interact with other players and play mini games on the map. And this game it was officially discontinued on March 29, 2017, but because of the players who is very addicted to this game and loves this game growing up and playing this game, the players have get the source code and open their own servers and allow like the community base to play the game. So let's meet our team. My name is Siwarit, and I'm a website and game design, and I would be doing game development too. My teammates Adam, he will work on the blockchain integration and game development, and Piravit will work on the website and game development as well as infrastructure development. Okay, so we have done a low fidelity prototype for our website and game design. Here's our project scope. The game will be web-based. It will be run on the web browser, and it will be a multiplayer game. There will be a virtual world inside, and also it will incorporate NFT into the game. So this is an example of our website. You can see it's wireframe prototype. So basically, it's how our website is gonna be like after before we put on the colors, the pictures, like that. So this is our homepage. Next, we also have a play page in which the user can connect the wallet, which will be further emphasized on the next part. But basically, this is a very broad picture of how the game would be in our idea. There will be a chat box, there will be a mini map, a hub where users can come and chat about the game and like go play mini games inside. And furthermore, we plan to keep the game update with the news, post every time we update on something, or we have patch notes or like new feature addition, or like our insights of how we do things. Yeah, and we plan to give that to the user as well. So for the game structure, it will be the following. So first of all, it will be mini games. Player can choose mini games to play and to earn rewards. After that, they will get rewards in which they will receive a token when they finish playing the mini games. There will be a leaderboard, and each mini games contain its own leaderboard system. Furthermore, we also have a friends system in which add or request other players to the friend list. And we have a chat system in which a player will be able to chat with other players in real time. And we would also incorporate the game market in which it will be a gacha system in that the player would interact with the game, not player-to-player market. So right now, our game asset would be the asset we got from the Unity asset store. Because our game, it wouldn't be really go on a real production. So in the case that it can go and has the potential to go, we can change it to other access that doesn't have copyright issues. But right now we will go on with the asset that is available for free. So this is our design. We got the avatars from the Unity asset store, which will be the characters on the right side of the screen. And the left side, we have our font, our logo, and our color scheme of the website and the game.
So now we will be going over the engineering approach. While the blockchain gaming industry is relatively new, it has an abundance of options to choose from for development with countless already successful examples. There are plenty of blockchains designed solely for gaming, let alone all the blockchains that are compatible with it. To add to this, there's a significant development on middlewares, which intends to connect game developers to Web3 as easily and as seamlessly as possible. Having considered our options through extensive research, we will be discussing our first choice in the following slides. So our game will be developed on the Unity engine, as there's an abundance of support in terms of both game assets, tutorials, and middlewares to bridge the gap to Web3. including Moralis. Moralis fulfills the requirements of Web3, making it much easier to integrate pre-existing games and especially brand new games into the blockchain. These requirements include Web3 authentication through wallet address signatures, for example, smart contract communication, sending and receiving assets, and real-time event tracking. For example, completion of an in-game quest can result in a smart contract trigger. It achieves this level of integration by providing several APIs that benefit different types of products. For our purposes, we will need their EVM or Ethereum Virtual Machine API, which works across several chains, including the Ray chain, which we will explain later. We will also need their NFT API, their authentication API, and their token API, all of which will greatly assist in providing functionality to our game without having to go through the hassle of creating our own Web3 interaction functions. This will allow the team to focus on better product in terms of gaming mechanics and tokenomics, rather than focusing on technicalities that will deplete valuable time and resources. There are thousands of blockchains to choose from, but by the recommendation of our advisor, we have opted for the Ray chain. The rationale for this decision is twofold. Firstly, the Ray chain project comes from Thailand, and as stated in the introduction, this project serves to expand on the Thailand crypto gaming scene. Consequently, it would be beneficial for the entire Thai community if we developed on another Thai project. Secondly, the nature of the Ray chain token fits all of our needs. It is a native ERC20 token that utilizes its own bridge technology, North Bridge Link, to connect with other EVM compatible chains, opening up the possibility for using faster and cheaper blockchains in the future. As mentioned before, this will seamlessly connect to our Unity game via Moralis. Finally, our game is planned to be hosted on Amazon Web Services or Microsoft PlayFab, and will be fully playable in the browser. This is so that there is as little friction as possible in onboarding new users who may not be familiar with Web3 and want to test it out. Amazon GameLift is an AWS service that hosts and manages dedicated game servers with fluctuating player counts for relatively cheap, allowing for multiplayer games, which is an essential part of our game, namely in PvP, time trial, mini games. Another alternative that we might use is Azure PlayFab, which provides a similar function to Amazon GameLift. In the end, our decision will be based on pricing and documentation of each service. And we are flexible here. Should there be any issues with our tech stack, there is room to change to, for example, Google Cloud Services. And for our purposes, there are negligible differences in here. An alternative to Moralis, for example, is the API is XYZ, etc. So there are backups in case of any problems we run into. Our classes at Chulalongkorn have also provided us with an abundance of knowledge that we can implement into our project. First of all, we gained our coding foundation in the early classes from year 1s and 2s, and eventually this was built on through different personal and group projects where we learned how to use React frameworks, for example, and had experience designing our own UX and UI. And also this was tied in with, for example, a Python backend in order to provide us with full stack development skills, which can be used on this project. Namely, last year's ISE capstone project epitomized all of what we learned so far, including our technical programming skills and our management skills. We had to develop a full stack project and manage 10 group members at the same time, implementing Scrum and Agile management methodologies, which can definitely be used here for our project. To be more specific, each member of this group had made an online educational gaming service designed for elementary school students, which all 3 of our members for this project were in that project as well. So we have experience with Unity and game development. In contrast, there are several topics we must learn anew to complete this project as well, namely blockchain technology. All of us are familiar with blockchain and cryptocurrency from an investing and conceptual perspective, but none of us have actually developed on Web3 before. Thus, we will need to do a lot of research and learn a lot of skills on the technical aspects of Web3 development. This includes writing smart contracts, learning Solidity, developing successful tokenomics, implementing Web3 API, and much more. However, this is the nature of being a software engineer. The industry is always rapidly growing, meaning there's always more to be learned, or otherwise one gets risk of getting left behind.
And it now comes to how we will implement our projects. First, let's talk about the system architectures. There are four main parts in our system architectures. First is the blockchain, and then there is the database, which is the main database that store our information about the games. And the next is the backend, which is the game logics, and the database to keep the player logs. Let's start with the blockchain. The blockchain, there's mint controllers, tokens, the in-game market, and the NFT, and the time block contracts. The mint controller will be about the minting the tokens after the user play and getting the reward from mini games. The mini game will send logics to the mint controller to generate the token to the users. As for the token, our game will have token used for the gacha system, and the gacha will be minted into an NFT avatar, which the user can use for cosmetics. As for the time block, a time block is the contract which is to define the transaction schedules. Next is the database. As for the database, we'll be using a SQL database, and we'll be storing the user information and the NFT or the avatar information and drop rates, which you can see the example here. As for you, this is not finalized yet, so there could be more or less. And as for the back end and database in the bottom, it'll be integrated by the cloud service, which is it could be the Mason Game Dev or the Azure PlayFab, depend on our decisions. And the back end, which is provided by the service, will be the API that allows the user to chat, to do matchmakings, and many other online services. As for the database which our team researched, both Amazon's and Azure service will provide a database to keep track on the player logs and like sessions, which could be a very useful things to keep track in the history of gameplay. And next will be our project timeline. As you can see, currently we are in the mid-December, which we will be starting our game development in the Unities. As for before, we have been finishing our proposal reports and making the design on our games and our website using Figma. And for the documentation, we'll be doing it along the development so that we could keep track on everything and have the same mindset. For the design, we want to finalize it by the end of January so that we could focus more on the development and the finalizing our task. And the blockchain integration will start on the development. And for the infrastructure deployment will be on April. However, the infrastructure deployment doesn't mean that we will not deploy while we're working on the game. It'll be more like integration between all the architecture that we have shown in the past slide. And as for the development methodologies, we'll be using a Scrum methodologies, which each sprint will take about 2 weeks. And we'll be having a daily Scrum, a 15-minute stand-up meeting daily. And as for the planning, we'll be having a sprint planning to plan on our tasks on each sprint in the first day of each sprint. And for the retrospective, to getting like the overview of our past sprint, we'll be doing on the last day. Like, so we could emphasize on making a better plan, or like, is there any issue we did in the previous sprint? And as for the KPIs and our future plans, for the KPIs, we have separated into the 3 major sections, which is the game, the website, and the blockchain. For the game, we will be having the deploy successfully as one of our KPI, and we will be having the few 0 errors on the gameplay, and providing a game mechanics, and having a gacha system implemented as a NFT, and integrating the website and the blockchains. And for the website, it's also the same, which is the deploying and integrating it. So our main goal is to having all them separately deployed and creating an integration between all the system. So what's next with our projects? The first thing is the game. After the final exam has ended, we'll be start developing the game and the core mechanics of the games. And after that, the website will also be developed since the design will be finalized. And the end, blockchain will be created with the smart contract being in place and the integrations. So that's all for our project proposals. Thank you for listening.
Okay, I think the committee will have questions for you.
Okay.
Okay, เชิญอาจารย์เศรษฐาก่อนได้เลยครับ
Oh, okay, thank you for the presentation. I have a few questions. The first one is about the game itself. I know you are going to integrate and develop the game, but I don't get how you are going to evaluate the game once it's finished.
Can you further explain what do you mean by evaluate? Like
to see whether the game development is successful. How are you going to evaluate it? Will you have some players, your friends, test play it?
Okay. So for now, our game, we don't really have plans for that. So what we think is like, if we're done developing the game for like, if it's playable, then our group of friends will be the first players who will be interacting with our system. And we're not really sure if we can really spread out the game before everything is in place. So we don't really have plan for that yet right now, but we'll take that into consideration and improve.
I also like to add something, like maybe when our core game and the mechanics are done, we could like let Ajahn Vishnu that we try it out, or like maybe Pita, which is like we'll be using his like maybe his chain, so like maybe he can also like evaluate and like give us some feedbacks during our development.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Do you have an example of in-game design? I have seen
Can you-
game characters taken from Unity, but I
Oh,
haven't seen
so
the
if
like
it's
the atmosphere in the game.
oh, okay. So it's probably like because it's a wireframe design, so I think it's gonna be you can see on the left side, this like a very broad picture and a very brief picture of what the game would be like. So it's this like the main hub where there is a user, right? Many players in the lobby, and you know they can chat, they can do whatever they want, and the game mostly incorporates a mini game like how should I say it, like a platform style mini game, racing mini game like that which we first plan to like add to the game as the time go by, like whichever done first and we put it in the game, right? So there are a tons of mini games that the players could choose from in the lobby, which would be similar to a game called Club Penguin. Can you go to the Club Penguin slide? So the finished product would briefly, like very broadly, be similar to this. So like this, how the atmosphere of the game would be. Right.
Okay. I get the picture better now. I just wonder, what would you consider your product, finished project to be a game with some similar, some graphics, and with some maybe 2 or 3 little games? Will that be considered like finished, the end product of your game? Because by looking here, it looks like you could go on adding things on and on, but what do you plan to achieve at the end of the project? What sort of level of details?
Okay. So the level of detail is like first we have the main lobby done, right? The main hub where users can interact, and we plan to include at least 3 mini games for our game to be, you know, like a beta test phase.
Okay.
Right.
And then after playing some of those games, players get some rewards and they can keep it.
Right.
Like
There'll
that.
be a leaderboard, and there'll be rewards in which they could use the money they earn in game to go on a gacha system. But the thing is, the reason we implement NFT games, implement the blockchain technology here, is that for example, we 3 of us play games, right? When, you know, in the past days, we used to, you know, as a kid, buy lots of things in the game, but then like when the license are like done, the game company shuts down the game, and we couldn't get anything back from the game itself. So with the blockchain technology, we can like let the users keep it when like there is no more money to, you know, run the game, or like we go do something else, the developer team. The players can keep their avatars and the in-game item they get in the game and keep it as a collectible, like a collection of their own, you know, something like that. Right.
Another thing, I'm just curious, because you call it some meow police. Is it will it be like cat themes, mini games, and will everything be related to cat?
yeah, it will be related to CAD. So based on our asset, can you go to our set page? We try to find something that is similar to our, like how we want it to come out. So as you can see, what we plan is that the top 3 roles would be our avatar. Each of them will have like different drop rates and rarity, right? So that will be decided later on, and like the bottom 3 roles will be like the NPCs and like you know the characters that will be on the minimap or like will be incorporated into each mini games for now. But then there is also a restriction that this is a Unity asset. So you know there will be license issue if we made it a production. So if we decided to do that, then we can change it into something that we created our own, or like we ask someone to do it so that we can use it in the game without any, you know, license issue.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. In terms of servers, will it be small enough and with fewer people enough to put it on a free server, or will you have to subscribe and pay some subscription?
Okay, so for our hosting, right? So basically, the server there will be two choice. So as for currently, from our research, Azure Prefab there will be a free tier, so we could try it out in a development phase. So and there will be like it will be more accessible than Amazon, because Amazon will be you have to pay to begin deploying and like try it out. So I think this one also will be more compatible with our project, since we'll be having to try a lot and like trying to deploy and trying out the features. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm just concerned about your schedule. Not sure whether the blockchain integration and website, you wrote it as website. I'm not sure whether you're going to start developing website from the beginning in March, because it looks to be too late for me. And in case you run into technical problem, you might not have enough time to do task 5 and task 6 in your schedule. Just wonder why you plan it that way. Is it because you expect the documentation and you Unity part to take a long time, so you decided to start the 5th and 6th part a little bit late?
Okay, so for the Unity part, we have like a very minimum experience in Unity based on our last year's project. We did a game, but it's not using that many experience, right? But as for the website, since year 1 we've done a tons of websites, like 3 of us have done you know, quite a number of websites for our project in the class, and also other projects outside the class. So we think that based on our experience level, we only need like 2 months to complete the website. And the blockchain integration, we only plan to use it only just for authorization and the NFT part. So we think we don't really, like, blockchain is not our core of our project, but instead it's going to be Unity that is the core of our project. The game would be the core focus of our project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. You sound confident enough.
It could change probably, but this like what we plan out, what we said, the goal of us is to do it like this, but it in reality it could change. So if there are some changes, we'll apply it and
Okay.
write it in the documentation if possible.
Okay.
ครับ.
Okay, thank you. I have no more question for the moment.
Okay, thank you. How much time I have?
we actually run out of time.
Oh, really?
I have,
How
I have
long?
a lot.
Oh, okay.
I have a lot of questions, but okay, I will ask just some that is sorting by important, I think. Okay. The good point from your presentation, you have a high level requirement. You have a persona to analyze what who is your customer, and also you have problem statement and decide how to solve that problem. But the thing I want to hear the most is about the mini game, because I want to see the game is interesting or not, and what is the rule of gameplay. However, you haven't decided, right?
We don't really have time because
Yes, that
Uh,
is the most dangerous thing, because from your timeline, I think just only one mini game is it will take time. But I heard that you offer 3 mini game, right?
so
And also yes,
it's not gonna be like how do you call, like very that complicated mini game. So
It'll be
think of it
casual.
like
Yeah.
do you know Flappy Bird, the mobile game,
yes.
the very short platform game that takes like a tap to just play it. It will be something like that. So like there will be many of those in the game. So we don't think it's gonna be that complicated for us to do.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, if you just present us some example of your mini game or concept, I will understand it more.
Okay.
For example, will it be board game, action, puzzle, and will be 2 versus 2, N versus N, or each one play for themselves and just show their scores in the leaderboard or something like that. So I can figure out how complex of
Picture.
your game, and also is it interest or interesting or not. Also, do you have a story of your game, story mode, or maybe event mode for seasonal reward, and also theme of the game, just maybe maybe in space, or heaven or hell, or some realistic world, or in the Thai or Japanese or Europe or Roman or something like that. Many and also about the music, and also game will the mini game takes long time in per round, maybe 1 minute, about 5 minutes, or something like that. Many things about the most important thing in the game project is a gameplay, but I haven't seen it yet for now. So it's very everything except the most important thing is perfect, but the most important thing I didn't see.
So actually we haven't started thinking about each mini games yet, because the first thing we will start would be the lobby thing, the hub, and then we will do the mini games afterwards. So we don't really have any plans for it, but we just only have a broad picture of it, like how we want it to be, like very
okay.
broad. We don't even have a specific detail of what it's gonna be, how would the gameplay inside would be.
Yes, I understand. What is your what are you doing? It's just like you have you plan to make a factory to produce some product. You know what is your customer. You know what is their pain point, something like that. What you don't know what to produce or something like that. So it's very strange for me, I think. So no problem, but I think it will be better if you design your mini game or the gameplay. I mean that please take into account that for the game project, I think that part is the most important part for the game project, I think.
Right. Okay, we will take it and improve in our report and the presentation next time.
Yes. Oh, okay. I have no more question. Thank you.
Thank you.
ขอบคุณครับ
ขอบคุณครับ okay I think we are done for the first group then ก็ขอบคุณอาจารย์ทั้ง2ท่านครับ เดี๋ยวกลุ่มที่2ก็จะพรีเซนต์เดี๋ยวผมตามอาจารย์ชินแป๊บหนึ่งของอาจารย์เศรษฐาก็จะแค่กลุ่มนี้กลุ่มเดียวครับสำหรับบ่ายนี้ครับ
อ๋อโอเคครับผมครับขอบคุณ
ขอบคุณครับ
ครับ
ขอบคุณมากครับ
ครับ
สวัสดี
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดี
นี่ครับ